And the recording starts off with a nice little clearing of the throat. Welcome to the Shoebooty Sports Cast, our inaugural episode. This is Grandpa, the host, along with co-host Bradley Brown. Bradley, please introduce yourself, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Okay, so we are a few weeks behind on football season, so a few things have happened in these opening weeks. Starting college football, I'd say week one happened pretty much the way we thought it would, right? Alabama throttled the one used to be elite program that they play every year. It's usually like what, Michigan, then it's Miami, something with an M in it. And that went about as expected. But I don't know, just the little bit I saw, Bryce Young looked pretty legit. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's just Alabama football factory there, right?
Yeah, just looking like an Alabama quarterback. Step in, just put them where you want them. Just like a machine.
Or just the little conveyor belt. Just spit this one out. Wherever they picked him up. I don't know where he's from or anything. Probably
I have
some
no clue.
Random state, but he can play. He's it's Alabama football. What can we say? So Alabama football is Alabama football. Like, so nothing new there. Although Florida did give them a little bit of a scare, but I never believed Florida. You and I were watching the Razorback game because we're both Arkansas alums, and they're winning football games now. So naturally, we're going to tune into that when we can.
Exciting times.
Yeah, it's not, a crap show. So it's watchable football, but they've looked good too. But they got the right guy in Sam Pittman. But so I'm excited about the future for Razorback football. But I did want to flip back. I mean, who was it they played? Arkansas.
Oh, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Georgia Southern.
There you go. See, I couldn't even remember who we played. So I of course remember just throttling Texas. Ripping them a new one, which is always great.
Yeah, I won't be forgetting that one for a while.
Us Razorback fans, it's always fantastic. But totally forgot who we played. Just knew we won 45-10. It was fantastic. Take over for a minute, Braz. I take a sip of my A&W zero sugar root beer.
But yeah, going back to that Florida game, like you said, we were sitting there watching that game, watching the updates in the bottom of the screen. Of course, see Bama up early. It's like, oh yeah, that's going just how we figured. Florida's out of it. Blah blah blah. Figured everybody else tuned out, stopped paying attention. Probably just as Alabama defense did, and Florida got back into it late. That'd be my take on the game. But like I said, we didn't watch it. So
when we saw the end, I mean, when it was basically over. But by the way, I know that drinking liquids is typically frowned upon when doing radio or something like this. And I was like, well, that's kind of lame. But now I think I understand why. I'm pretty sure everybody and their grandma heard me swallowing as I was taking my small sip and of my half frozen zero sugar A&W root beer. We don't have a sponsor yet, but if they want to jump on there, more than welcome. Hop on, guys. But okay, Alabama's Alabama. Clemson doesn't have Trevor Lawrence or Travis Etienne anymore, or many of those guys up front to block for them because ukulele or however you say his last name. No offense to the quarterback, I just don't know how. I know there's a G in there and some A's and an L, an I, and it starts with a U. And I like Clemson football, so Clemson became my favorite team outside of Arkansas when they mercy rolled Alabama in the national championship a few years ago. So I do follow them, but I still can't say his say the fellow's name. Poor guy who was on his back all night against Georgia, but Georgia looked legit.
Yeah, I'd say that was a shocker to me how scary that defense looked, man.
I don't know if it was a shocker though, right? I mean, it's Kirby Smart. That's his thing. It's defense. So I can't say it was a shocker, right? But
That's why I said to me it was a shocker. I wouldn't expect them to be that. I don't know, just that effective. I guess you'd call it. I mean, I was figuring Clemson was going to at least score a touchdown on them. To say,
well, yeah. I mean, it's Trevor Lawrence not there though. It's a downgrade no matter who's stepping in though.
it's true, man. But you're playing a lot more physical than those guys.
Yeah, it's not a Packers situation where Favre goes off and then the guy who takes better care of the football better than any quarterback in history comes in. It replaces the guy who both great but takes care of it. Replaces the guy who takes care of it the least. And the most reckless throw of the football ever. Love Brett Favre, big fan. But how many playoff games did they lose in like the second round or the NFC Championship game the year the Giants won it? Or it's just like, why did he throw that? That's how every Packers season ended to me. Why did he throw that?
But he got them there consistently.
Yeah, and consistently in the second, round is or first or second round, Packers have an early exit against a team like the New York Giants. And it's like, why did he throw that? Didn't have to happen. But
Gunslinger.
anyway, so Georgia's good, Alabama's good. They're the rightful 1-2s. You had to get Oklahoma out of there after 2 close calls against Tulane and Joe T. Robinson High School, or whoever it was they played in week 2.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Shout out Joe T. Robinson. I don't have any ties there. Just Little Rock School, y'all. Little Rock, Arkansas. But so, and so Alabama, Georgia's good. Any surprise teams jump out to you other than our Arkansas Razorbacks?
Surprise teams.
Take that. Yeah, take that as a no early on. But as far as
not early on, I'm surprised that one team that's ranked as high as they are still, which is Notre Dame.
You're not surprised enough. That's Notre Dame.
I know it's the usual hype every year. They're Notre Dame. They wear gold helmets. We get it.
but they're consistent, right? They're consistently overrated.
Yeah.
Just like Texas and Arkansas proved that. I will say this, I was a little worried going into that game just because we didn't hear for ESPN finally learned their lesson. It seems like when every year Texas would beat the year they beat, of course, an overrated Notre Dame team or some other program that's not as good as they used to be, and they would always lead with Texas is back. And so I was a little worried that ESPN didn't have that headline.
Wasn't it their quarterback that said they're back?
Yes, he did that, but they've been saying that for years.
Well, I try not to pay attention to Texas football.
Well, I mean, but that's the point. It's shoved down your throat. You can't escape it. But every year it's Texas is back, and then they get beat the next week. It's kind of like Arkansas. Whenever Arkansas, that's why I'm a little worried that they're ranked as high as they are. Every time they're ranked high, and hey, look, we're legit. Then they go out and they lose. That's Arkansas. Yeah. That's kind of Arkansas football. But I mean, it is A&M they played this week, so I can't say I'd be surprised or I'm not going to say I wouldn't be disappointed because I'm a typical fan. I say going into it, I'm not going to be disappointed if they lose this one, and then it's close, and then you get into it, and then they lose, and of course you're going to be disappointed a little bit. But yeah.
Well, you think we should be used to it, being the last we've lost 7 of 8 there, so.
I don't even remember.
Have we won a game there?
I think it's a solid 7 for 7 for A&M. I remember Kellen Mond, them asking him, it's like this turned into talking about, tell us about this rivalry, and he's beat us like 6 years in a row, or however long he was in school there. And he's like, I'm not, I don't know if it's a rivalry, but I'm like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah, it's a stretch.
Since Petrino left, it's been all A&M. But
Yeah, I want to say Petrino beat him one year, and that was it.
Petrino was like 3-0 against them.
But I'm saying at Jerry World, when they started playing at Jerry World.
Yeah, whatever it was, we were always beating them. When we were winning lots of games when Petrino was there. But anyway, we're I don't know. This gonna be a little Razorback football heavy. It wasn't planned going into it, but hey, we haven't been fun to talk about for 5-6 years, so we're on it a little bit. But I will say this: Auburn is pretty much. I thought Auburn was overrated, being ranked where they were. But then again, I mean, they did show up against Penn State, missed the second half, but the final score, suggested, hey, okay. I mean, it's Auburn though. I mean, they'll be Auburn. They'll, what? Do we say Auburn's a top tier program, or is it like high, or is it like high second tier?
Man, I don't know, man. They've got a national championship in the last 10 years. I'd say they're up there.
Well, they're definitely up there. But like okay, let's say we're just going SEC. We got Alabama and then everybody else. So that second tier is typically like LSU, Georgia.
Auburn,
Georgia's
Georgia,
definitely up there.
Florida.
Yeah, I guess you would throw Auburn in there. But see, Auburn will have those really good years, and then they'll go like 7-6 for and 8-5 and around that for a couple years or so. That's just always been Auburn, though.
But and then get fed up and fire the coach.
Exactly. It's like, but no matter who's been the coach there, that's always been Auburn.
Oh yeah, hell, they fired Chiswick a year after he won a national championship.
Well, but they also went like what?
Oh, they were terrible.
They won like
they were terrible that next season. Oh crap!
Yeah, I mean it went downhill pretty quick. Like Cam left. It's like, okay, now we see why you allegedly paid him. Allegedly. But I mean,
they allegedly should have paid him more so he didn't have to take any laptops. So, but that happened allegedly at Florida.
Yeah, right? that was Florida. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. See, well, I guess Florida wasn't paying him, so he had to go sell some laptops or whatever.
Florida was definitely paying him allegedly.
Probably, but
it's Florida.
I don't know. Cam made it out okay. I was rooting for him in New England. I kind of wanted to see. I really wanted to see 2000s. Well, what year did he win MVP? Like 15. Either way, that year Cam was fun to watch. Cam was by far the most fun guy to watch. And then he just after that Super Bowl, it was downhill from there. I was hoping Bill would resurrect him, in New England, and it just did not happen. So.
Yeah, it's 2015 MVP.
Yeah.
And then the annihilation in the Super Bowl, and it was never the same.
And going back to Cam, just I mean, I was wanting to see him turn around in New England. I was rooting for the guy. He had his, out there hair. He seemed motivated that he got cut. And it just I don't know, just didn't work out. It kind of was predictable a little bit. Like with my head, I'm thinking, yeah, that's probably how I really thought it was gonna go, but my heart, I don't know. My heart was I just wanted to see the old Cam back. I wanted to see the dude plowing dudes over and throwing TDs and dancing in the end zone. And pissing off the defense, the safety coming and shoving him, and then just, a little bit of a melee. That was entertaining to me. That was fun to watch. Look, it's polarizing.
Like a man child, man.
Polarizing, but fun to watch. It's entertaining. It's like the bad guy wrestler. It's the heel wrestler. He's polarizing. He rubs people the wrong way, but it's entertaining, right?
Oh yeah.
You don't know how to follow that, do you?
No.
Pro wrestling reference comparison on the podcast.
The Rock. Shit. He was kind of a bad guy, right? Whenever we were growing up.
Well, yeah, but that's how they become. That's just pro wrestling. That's how they become.
But yeah, everybody
good guys naturally. Stone Cold Steve Austin, he was the ultimate bad guy. He's the ultimate heel, and so much, and he's so great at it that we cheer for him. That's what we do. We cheer the bad. That's what I do. Let's face, yeah, Hulk Hogan was cool when you're a kid and eat your vitamins, say your prayers, and just coming in and hulking up on everybody, and then just dropping the big old leg. But he didn't. But it got stale. He got cool when he put on the black and became Hollywood. So I don't. So basically, what we're saying is Cam was a heel in Carolina, and fun to root for. That's the moral of the story, right?
Yeah. Moral of the story. I would say so. Yeah. I was gonna say something about his fashion choices, but just because they're so freaking wild. But
yeah, that's kind of the trend, though. He's not the only one doing it. Look at Russell Westbrook.
No, but the freaking remember the rompers shit? Isn't that what they were called? Like how retarded? How stupid did that look, man?
Yeah.
And then everybody else started jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah, glad that only lasted for a month.
So. I think so. Brad dropped the R word. Everybody will go ahead and punish him for it. So send your hate tweets to Shoebooty Sports at Twitter or at Shoebooty Sports on Twitter. We've still got to create the Twitter page. But when we do, you can send your hate mail to that. But yeah, we don't want to get canceled. So you can try, but whatever. But anyway, so college football, roughly kind of college football. It's if you really think about it, Alabama's Alabama. Georgia's really good, legit. It looks like. Although the Clemson game could have gone either way had Ukulele not thrown the pick six. It was a defensive war up until that point.
That was the only touchdown, right?
I think Georgia scored at the end, but it was like over. But Georgia was the better team. You could tell even when it was nothing. You could just tell Georgia. To me, Georgia was better, and you can kind of tell that. And they did. They kind of took over at the end offensively. Like it's like just a bunch of haymakers, and then finally Georgia got through with a hard right, and then just staggered them, and then stayed on it. Just kept grinding and took over at the end. It just kind of took control of the game. But as far as and the other predictable spots, Notre Dame's overrated, but like really overrated. And I don't know. I want some of these teams that used to be good. It's kind of weird not seeing them good. Like I was a Florida State fan as a kid, like in the '90s, because they were great. And it's just weird not seeing them, as good as we are used to seeing anyway. But that quarterback that came into at the end of the Notre Dame game, that was a pretty cool story. Did you hear about that, Brad?
I heard about it. I wasn't familiar with it. I think I'd been drinking a couple of beers watching that game.
But did you see the game?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, yeah, he like got his leg, ripped off or something, badly injured. Either, horrifying leg injury. I'm exaggerating, obviously, when ripped off, but um, pretty bad. Like more so close to Alex Smith bad as opposed to, just your
Shark
basic.
attack bad.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was basic leg injury. But anyway, it was a cool story. So I was kind of wanting them to see that. And then Florida State's coach iced his own kicker, and they lost the game. So it wasn't the best ending, to it wasn't a Hollywood ending, but it was an ending. It was a week one ending. UCLA has been fun to watch. I will say that.
Yeah, it's
UCLA.
been a minute since they've been in the rankings.
Well, you knew Chip was gonna.
Oh yeah, he's gonna make his way back for sure.
Yeah, he was gonna get them there eventually. I mean, he lost like 6 games at Oregon in like 135 years or however long he was at Oregon. So
Speaking of, yeah, that's one team I'm glad to see Oregon back up in there.
it was just fun to watch him beat Ohio State. No offense,
Oh
Ohio
yeah,
State fans, but it was. I don't know. I was pulling for Oregon. I wanted to see him. I wanted to see him win that. But as far as other teams, who are we missing out on?
I don't know, man. Ole Miss, you believe in the hype?
Yes. Um,
I think I am too, because they're going to outscore. I mean, practically, they can score on anybody. It's all going to depend on if they can stop somebody from scoring once or twice.
well, I think Lane has kind of figured something out this time around. I'm not going to say figured it out. I think he's figured something out. He's a bit of a showman on the sideline. He knows how to score points, and I think he knows what he is as a coach, and he's playing into that. Like he's playing to his strengths. He kind of he sort of did that at Tennessee, but would constantly go over the line. Like the saying that to the recruit, if you go to South Carolina, you're going to be pumping gas the rest of your life, or whatever he said to the guy. But I mean, he was constantly just kind of going over the line, and but you could also see where he was. I mean, they were only 7-6, but people were excited, and then he goes to USC, and then it just all is downhill from there. But going and coaching with Saban, I mean, as much as I'm sure he hated it, at times at least, he would never say that publicly. But I mean, come on, you don't exit that way because it was a plush paradise, while you were there. But he certainly learned a thing or two, matured as a coach, and now he still knows how to be himself. I mean, you saw him at FAU; he was fun. I mean, he was fun to watch on the sidelines with his players in post game interviews. I mean, that was pretty entertaining. He's been fun on Twitter.
Yeah, like you say, social media presence. He's all over it,
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he
which
relates
is
to
par for the
young.
course nowadays. But a couple of years ago, it wasn't.
Well, I mean, Kiffin probably relates to young people probably better than any other coach in the SEC. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair assumption.
I mean, you can just see him. I could just see him like dapping it up with his players or something after a big play.
I mean, any of the youngest coach. I mean, who else is younger than him?
I don't know, mate. Yeah, I probably know one. The South Carolina guy, I
Missouri.
think, is kind of young, but
Yeah, he
he
looks
he's
pretty
he's
young.
he's not he's not Kiffin though, as far as just kind of the presence he does come or has, coming in with the Ray Bans on and
You, you see
all
what the
that. I
South
don't know.
Carolina coach, you see what the South Carolina coach said about Georgia's defense. Like,
No,
so why do you think Georgia's defense is so good? He's like, probably 'cause they have like 100 5-star recruits over there playing against us. Hell, I don't know. They're good. Something along those lines.
I think
Keeping it real and energy.
I saw something where he said, where I think it might have been him, where he said like having Will Muschamp over there, like they need that much more help, or some kind of very generic thing that you tell the media. And I just remember reading it, just thinking, it's that's a good defensive coaching hire. Why is this news? why why did this make a headline? Um, but I think that's the thing about Ole Miss. I think they're going to win. I mean, they're not going to win the West or anything, but
no.
Are they going to be relevant? Are they going to score a lot of points? Are they going to win some big games? Yeah, probably. And at Ole Miss, you're probably good with that. Like Arkansas fans, the reasonable ones, even though it's one of my favorite things at the beginning of the year to hear Razorback fans call in and predict, like 11-win seasons and things like that. But the reasonable fans, I think we're pretty cool with 7 to 8 wins a year, and just don't get it, just compete in the ones you don't win.
Yeah, I'd be perfectly fine going 7-8, and then 1 out of 4 or 5 years making a run at the SEC championship game or something like that. But
and just to be clear,
as long as Saban's there.
Yeah, and I think you mean.
I don't know.
I think you mean win between 7 and 8 games, not go 7 and 8 every year. Correct?
Yes,
that'd be something if they up the game total to 15. A lot of
money.
A lot of records broken too. Be some people upset about that probably.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of dive into NFL football on that note. What do you think about the 17-game season?
I mean, as a fan, you got to like it. As a player, nah, I don't know if I'd like it that much, but as a fan, you got to love it, man. It's more football. Who's against more football?
I don't think the players are going to be too hype about it, but I mean, yeah, of course, I want to see more meaningful football. I don't necessarily need four preseason games. I do like that, taking out a preseason game and adding a real one in its place. Yeah, as a fan, yeah, I dig it. And I will say this about Goodell, it's not my favorite commish by any stretch of the imagination, but for so long I just kept saying, quit messing with the game. It's perfect. Just stop messing with the game. And then he backed up the extra points. I was like, oh, okay, and then after seeing it, I'm like, okay, that is pretty cool. I mean, because it actually, cool. Yeah, it's not a gimme anymore. It's not necessarily a gimme. So,
there's quite a few missed extra points that first year. That's for
sure. Yeah, it's
lost people lots of money. So I hear.
Allegedly. I don't know. I've not gambled in a while. I think I bought a scratch off fairly recently, but no luck there. But that's about. I don't know. Gambling in sports is just. I don't know who's like really successful at it. The Hollywood movies,
fun.
that they. But I mean, yeah, that's what it is. But the Hollywood movies they make about gambling, here's some hot shot who who's got a talent for it, ex-athlete, and he's like, riding the wave to success, and then just falls apart and then almost loses everything or something. It's any typical gambling movie.
It always falls apart.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't go in there, thinking you're going to retire off the stuff, but throwing $5-10 on a game to make it a little entertaining. I mean, it's just like somebody drinking a beer or two at the bar. Makes the game a little bit more entertaining. I don't see no problem with it. See, as long as you're not like, hey, I'll take 100. I'm gonna make it up. Let's do another 100. Don't do that crap.
That's the gateway drug or drink to gambling. Just throwing 5 and 10 on it. That's it. And
that's why
it's like the
$200 whenever you deposit $1. I mean, yeah.
It's like going to the bar and saying, I'm just going to have one or two. And then, at 3 a.m., you're out shirtless and,
1 or 2 pitchers
or whatever it is, whatever the exaggerated amount is. I don't know, but I know that's a thing that people do. So
yeah. I'm usually
allegedly.
too cheap and I'm out by 2 to 3 beers. So
Yeah, I'm going to be 37 soon. So and I got stuff to do the next day. So I'm going to do it from the recliner as opposed to an uncomfortable bar stool with around a whole lot of people that have probably had way more than that. And they're not as fun when you've not had, near as many. But anyway, 17 games. My takeaway, uh, kind of just early on, Bucks have been the Bucks, Chiefs have been the Chiefs. The Ravens have been in just some entertaining games all year. What about the Raiders? Do we believe in the Raiders? Are the Raiders on their way to? I'm not gonna say they're back, but are they?
yeah, I kind of want to. I mean,
I know what you
I kind
want
of
to
think they're there
do.
to be competitive. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to make the Super Bowl, but could they possibly make a run at maybe a wild card? Yeah.
I mean, Carr's thrown for
I,
like what? Legitimately, like what? 900 yards or something in the first two games.
That's something stupid.
It's a lot. So, but they've been entertaining games. Ravens games have been entertaining too, but just because it's been
All
they're
Lamar. They don't
well,
have a running back, man.
yeah,
I mean, they
Lamar's
do, but not a running back that's been on the team for more than 2 weeks.
yeah, Lamar's a cheat code in itself. Um,
Yeah, he rocked out for me in fantasy this past week.
well, that was a good pickup.
Oh yeah.
See, I had Jameis week one. It's because I saw him in the preseason. He looked great in the preseason. I know it's the preseason. And I know people, yeah, but it's like, yeah, I don't buy into the preseason. But he looked really good. If you watch the game,
Eddie had the
yes.
LASIK, man. I thought that was it.
Well, he came in shape. I mean, that's the best shape I've ever seen Jameis Winston in. Came in shape. He was making good decisions because that's always been his thing. I mean, yeah, he's got arm talent. He throws a good deep ball. Always has.
Yeah,
But
but he
his on
just
the
throws
field
it up though.
decisions, his and off the field decisions haven't been his strong suit. That's not news. That's what anybody in sports media or just paying attention is. That's the thing about Jameis. He just does. I mean, yeah, he threw 5,000 something yards in Tampa, but he also threw 30 picks. So, and then hearing him say, "Yeah, I balled out." I mean, yeah, but you were throwing you balled out on turnovers too. Like, yeah. So, but and he looked great in week one. He only had I think he had less than 200 yards passing, but he threw 5 touchdown passes. But it was also against the Packers team that's in all sorts of turmoil right now with their quarterback. What's your take on that, by the way?
Man, I was kind of worrying or kind of wondering if maybe some of his teammates had seen his little special. Did he have like some special interview with man, what's that chick's name from Fox? But
Talking
he had
Aaron
like a sit down
Rodgers.
and yeah, talking to Aaron Rodgers, and he was basically saying, "Oh yeah, you drafted the guy that's supposed to replace me, so why not get rid of me now? Why wait?" And I wonder if some of his teammates took that the wrong way for the first week. He's like, "Yeah, you know what? Maybe here's an Olay block or something." But,
Well, I don't know about that because you're really only going to cost yourself money at that level
well, that's
doing
first
that.
game of the season. It's not you don't have to win it, and it's a road game. I was kind of expecting Rodgers just not to show up on the road.
When does Aaron Rodgers not show up, though? I mean, that's the thing. That's the first time I've seen Aaron
I've seen
Rodgers
him.
just
I've seen
really
him a
play a
couple
bad
of
game.
times on the road not show up.
I mean, yeah, he's not had just great games, but I've never seen him look that bad. He just looked disinterested. He just looked like I don't need football anymore. And that's kind of the
Yeah.
message he's been throwing out. I mean, he'd said all offseason, I'm 50-50, on retiring.
Oh, he definitely
And it
thought
showed,
about Final Jeopardy once or twice during that game.
which I never saw him do that, but I hear he was good at it and I could see him doing it. But
It's kind of weird watching
well,
him, watching Aaron Rodgers dressed in a suit, trying to act smart, asking these questions. But
I
it
mean,
worked.
he probably is a smart guy. I mean,
I
I
mean,
don't know
he
him
is.
personally.
I mean, you
I don't,
got to be an NFL quarterback to say that. I mean, that's a lot of material to learn.
I don't know if you have to be. I just know it helps. I'll say that. But I did hear Carson Palmer do an interview, and he just talked about all the studying he did. Which Carson Palmer seems like a bright dude. I know I mean, he was really good at slinging it there for a while, but he would just talk about the amount of preparation, and obviously you got Manning and Brady, who, I mean, Manning just that was his thing: prepare, 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 and it's a lot of work that goes into that. And so many quarterbacks that did have talent, as you know, didn't make it because they didn't prepare. So, Marcus and
Johnny Manziel, what?
well, John, well, yes, but Johnny's was partying. I mean,
Yeah.
dude had a
I
legit
wish he could have
problem.
worked out, man. He was so much fun to freaking watch in
Gosh,
college.
yeah, he was. He was. I mean, he can't take away what he did in college. I mean, he was so fun to watch in college. But I mean, just an electrifying football player. But you knew that probably wasn't going to translate to the pro game. At least you
Oh
would get
no.
it in spurts, but not every game like A&M. But I'm with you. I wanted it to work out. Plus, it was cool, and the whole Cleveland sports bar like lost their minds when they drafted them. It was cool to see them that hype about something. And I think LeBron had just come back or something. Like Cleveland sports were like, oh, okay, this is pretty exciting. And LeBron held up, say what you want about him, but held up his end of the bargain. But
Hey, he gave him a ship, dude.
he
He
he did.
he
You know,
came through.
he got a little bit of help, but I mean, they weren't favored in any of those series.
No.
But I mean, I mean, he held up his end of the bargain. Johnny didn't, but I hear he's got his
Didn't
life
even
together
come
now.
close. Yeah, good
Yeah.
for him. I'm glad.
Well, yeah, and then I never saw him in the CFL, but I saw like his interception highlights, and that's pretty much the only highlights he had. I think he scrambled for a touchdown one time, but yeah, I looked up his statistics out of boredom. I think like sometime over the summer, and it was just more interceptions than picks, and just not Johnny football. But you play that hard, you play like that, and live like that. I mean, burning the candle at both ends. It's not gonna last. It's not Brady. It's just a consistent, traditional on steroids, but not steroids. Not Tom Brady doesn't take steroids. TB12 program. Just saying the traditional way gets it done as far as longevity goes.
Does he sell that program?
Uh, I mean, he may when he's done. Make a time. I mean, I know that's a big brand. I know it's a
He's whatever he's doing after he retires he's gonna make a ton of money, whatever it is.
whenever that may be. Not that he not that he needs it, but yeah, whenever. I mean, he's going to play
I
till
don't know,
50.
man. I hear him and his wife are barely getting by.
Is that sarcasm?
Getting a little bit, yeah.
I couldn't tell. You said it kind of convincingly. I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. She made more money than he did at one point.
Yeah, them two. Who knows? Sure, somebody does. I won't bother to look it up, but
Well, I know they're
that's a
both.
shit
I
ton.
know they're both very successful in winning at life. So, and on the field. So,
Well, they don't even need Tom Brady's paycheck, so they're doing pretty good.
no, I mean he just needs rings. I mean that's just his thing. That's his motivator. But
It seems to be working.
Brady has reached that point to where, as I've told you in our last conversation, he's reached a point where you just know it's like when Jordan had the ball at the end. You just knew the Bulls were most likely going to win. Like if you were betting money, you really bet it on the Bulls to win because it's like, no, there's a much better chance that the Bulls are going to win because Mike's got the ball. Brady's got the ball. You feel the same way, the exact same way. And I even
you're
added,
actually going to win those bets most of the time.
I mean, you're going to win it. Like when we say that LeBron has the ball on the last possession, I feel like we want to believe, or at least his fans want to believe that he's going to go win the game. But I don't know if they really believe he's going to go win the game. He doesn't play the same way at the end that he does during the game. He's just not the same guy. The pressure gets to him. There's no I think. I mean, just the evidence suggests that. Brady and Jordan
we've
rise. Like they elevate their game when it matters the most. And LeBron's not done that, at least not to that extent. And what I was ultimately getting at is Brady has reached a point where we almost say, like Michael Jordan is the Tom Brady of basketball. He's almost gotten to that point. At least my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, that's justified, man. It's getting that crazy, man.
Like
And hell, Jordan
it
has 6
sounds,
rings. Brady has 7.
yeah,
I
like
mean,
it sounds bad saying that. At least
I don't
just
think it
off the top
sounds
of your head.
bad. It just sounds very odd because
But it's more of just a credit to what Tom Brady has made himself into, the ultimate winner.
just clutch. I mean, that's what I think of for Jordan Brady.
Yeah. I mean, we'll end it on this basically. If the if aliens come to Earth and say we want to play either one-on-one with a basketball player and determine the outcome of this planet and all of your lives, and 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter against a quarterback that we're going to try to stop, which two are you throwing out there? Are you throwing LeBron out there? Or are you throwing Jordan out there with your life on the line?
I'm throwing Jordan all day, every day.
I'm throwing Jordan,
but
and we're handing Brady the ball. How much air in it doesn't matter to me, which is
doesn't matter.
Still the most over exaggerated story in the history of sports. I'm not even going to say the word, but that's another story for another day. But this is the inaugural episode of the Shoebooty Sports Cast, and we're about to sign off here. But it's been fun. It's been a bit of a crap show, but we're having
We're gonna have some growing pains.
We're having fun. Bear with us, and we hope you did too, at least a little bit. So, signing off. We'll be back next week. I don't know if y'all can hear the dog barking in the background or not, but
most definitely.
Awesome. Well, that's Edward. He just does that a lot. There's no hiding it. But anyway, We're out of here. Till next time, cue our closing music. We'll pick closing music at some point. Till next time.